Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Big Lee's World Podcast. It is I, your host, Big Lee, coming to you live from Cape Fear Con, and today I have a very special guest with me. I have the one, the only, up-and-coming deathmatch superstar and CCW superstar who is actually working tonight. If you are coming out to CCW Hardcore Halloween 3, if you're listening to this past this, then you know this has already happened. However, nonetheless, with me today, Mr. Cash Borden. Cash, thanks for being a guest here today.
No problem. What is up, Big Lee?
Man, not much. Just late night, early morning, getting back from that Southern Sickness Cup.
Yes, we'll get into that for sure.
Oh.
I want to talk.
Oh, man. So, for anybody that knows, if you've been listening to some of the past episodes that we've had on here, we have had a friend of yours, your sister, who had some very loving remarks.
Sister.
Some very loving remarks to say about you, which we can get into later. And make sure that is with Miss Marley Knox. So if you've not listened to that episode, make sure you go into the archive at bigleesworld.com or your favorite podcast platforms, and make sure to check that out. Check that podcast out. So with that being said, so kind of tell us how you got started in the wrestling business.
Well, before you check the Marley podcast out, make sure you have, an ample 3 hours to spare? Jesus, fuck. I can't cuss, right?
Yeah, we got the explicit
All right.
rating.
Fucking dick-sucking shit. Titty fucking. Oh, yeah. You're here with Cash Borden, baby. All right, anyways.
I think it was like, 2 hours, 47 minutes or something like that?
Jesus, fuck, man.
She had a lot to say.
Ramble on.
All right, she informed me she had tea to spill.
Tea to spill.
Or tea to drink, one of those things. I can't get them right.
Is that like a classy way of being, talking shit?
Yes, it is.
That's what the kids are saying nowadays.
That's what the kids are saying, you know.
She got that from the Kardashians.
Yo, yes, the good old Kardashians. So are you saying that Marley Knox is one of the Kardashians of wrestling?
Well, I mean, I'm sure she tries to uphold that image, besides being the trash princess.
The trash princess.
Anyways.
2.5 minutes in, and it's already going down the path of train wreck here, which we'll get into the train wreck here shortly. So anyways, so how'd you get started in the business?
I actually got started in 2006. I'd say it starts then. That's when I just started training to wrestle. Everybody from my town. I'm from a small town where you go to work in a factory or you sell drugs to get by. And I seen all of my friends either dying or selling drugs to get by or withering away in a fucking factory. And I was not going to be that person. Look at me now. I work at Walmart and I'm a wrestler.
The American dream.
Yeah. Didn't change much, but none of those motherfuckers can say they've been a champion.
Oh, man. Look at that. Already a champion. Okay, so where'd you start out at?
I started out in Paris, Illinois. I started training for a school down there called NCW. The trainer there was Ice Cold Outlaw. About 3 months into the training, I was a security guard for his show leading up to being trained. He went through a table at the show about 3 months into my training and got paralyzed. So from there on out, it was kind of like Ollie Tharp. He's a referee. He started out around IWA Mid-South back in the Punk Guerrero days.
Okay.
He was a dude that kind of took over and showed everybody else, the ropes on how to get your bumps down and everything like that. Other guys in that school with me was Christian Rose, which was Crisscross back then. A lot of people don't know that, and he'll probably fuck me up for even saying that. Alex Castle, Blake Reed, and then a couple of dudes that I went to school with. Now, this is funny here. One of the dudes, Benji Batson, I was best friends with growing up. He, he always stayed away from, the crowd that I would hang out with. That influenced me to become a wrestler because I didn't want to be one of these pieces of shit like them.
Right.
But Benji wasn't like that. He smoked some weed every now and then. That was about as bad as Benji got. But he started wrestling with me. We'd drive almost 3.5 hours every Sunday to Paris, Illinois to train for 5-6 hours and then drive 3.5 hours back every week. So it starts off with me and Benji Batson. Then it leads to another guy named Aaron Abs. Now, Aaron was about 4 years younger than me and Benji Batson. And I already had this real bad reputation of hanging out with the older kids and, like, all the people who sold drugs and shit like that. So in school, Aaron was scared to death. Like, I'd walk by him and fuck with him, like RKO him in the hallways and shit like that. So the first couple times Aaron Evans started riding with us, he wouldn't say a goddamn word. And he would sit in the back of this cramped up truck for 3.5 hours and not say a word because he was scared to death of both of us. And then finally he started lightening up and he would tell us like stories to where he was getting embarrassed in front of girls that we knew at school. And that's really how we started bonding through that. But they both do not wrestle now. I'm the only one left besides Blake Reed, Christian Rose. I think those are the guys that I named that are still working today. But I started out around there, little indie shows, anywhere I could get. With my training ending in 3 months, I felt like I still needed to learn so much more than what I had already accomplished. So not a lot of us are still working that I started out with. I felt like I needed to still grow with psychology. I had the bumps down. You know, I wasn't solid on ring work. After I started to get a mind for wrestling, then I picked up, like, okay, I may want to go out there and try to hit these fucking backwards ranas and shit. That ain't gonna happen. And it's gonna look sloppy as fuck. You want your shit to always look crisp, and that was something that I knew I needed to learn before I progressed anymore in wrestling. So I would hit any seminar I could. Vampiro is the first one. Spending like a 5-hour seminar with Vampiro and just listening to him talk is where I picked up psychology, how to place a match together as a puzzle. Just making sure everything's going as accordingly in your mind and hearing the fans and being able to transition on the fly with stuff like that. Wrestlers nowadays, you got like a handful of guys that got it and will do the crisp shit they know that they can do and it's going to look good, and then you got these other guys.
There's not too many crisp wrestlers in Southern Illinois.
Not really, no. But that stands out too. Mm-hmm. It's easy for me to stand out at all these shitty shows when I'm the only crisp worker there is. So now being here in CCW, when I came down on September 28th, 29th.
Something like that, yeah.
Scouted the show. I seen in every match there was multiple talented guys. And for once in my wrestling career, besides being on a big show like IWA Mid-South, Vicious Outcast, JCW, I now have something to work to be better for the first time. And I've been wrestling now for 13 years, so I'd say for the first time in about 5-6 years, I have a reason to work harder and perfect even more what I have already done. So I'm excited to see where that goes.
Okay, so you talked about how you kind of got started in the business, stuff like that. You came on my radar 2014, 2015, somewhere around then. I'm terrible with timelines. But nice little company starting up in Centralia, Outlaw Wrestling. So tell me a little bit about Outlaw Wrestling and tell me how you got started in it.
Well, Outlaw is it's a fed that, like, a bunch of us guys with the same mindset that would travel all over and still kept, like, the old school persona about everything, living your gimmick pretty much. Mm-hmm. You got Devin and Mason, the hooligans. I mean, these motherfuckers are barefooted 100% of their life, and that's what they fucking do. No matter if they're walking around in a ring with broken glass, they're going to be barefooted still.
Right.
You got them, you got Alex Rudolph, I don't even know how to say his last name now.
Herzog or something?
Herzog, yeah. That's a shoot name. But, yeah, you got Alex, you got, I think we had the Rejects on that show.
Yeah. Was it Parnell there?
Yes, Jake Parnell, for sure. He's one of the original Outlaws that came about. Deadly Dale. Bull Bronson.
Yep.
I forget.
Old Bull Bronson.
Right.
Shout out to Bull Bronson.
But yeah, dude, it was like we all had the same mindset about putting on a show that was going to be old school and still fit to what was going on with this day and age is wrestling. Like, we wanted to run it kind of like ECW in that sense. But, yeah, dude, Outlaw, we've had, maybe 6 shows now since 2000. 14, is that what you said?
2014, 2015, somewhere around there.
Yeah, so only 6 shows have happened, I think. 7 maybe. But they've all been good-ass shows.
Yeah. I've made it to 2 of them. I made it to the first one, and then I made it to the most infamous, notorious one, which would be show number 3.
Ah, yes.
Which holds the record for the quickest a wrestling ring has been torn down.
Man, that was horrible.
So let's kind of talk about this process here that night, because for what I remember, it was the main event. It was a 6-man. It was the Hooligans against the Rejects versus Idol and Dell. That match ended. The venue manager, promoter kicks in the locker room door, complaining about the damage that's been done to the building, and threatening to call the cops if they don't hurry up and get out of there. Which there was no threat, because the cops did get called.
Yeah, they were there.
And everybody, kayfabe was completely broke, and was out there throwing that ring in the back of a trailer. And I remember Uncle Leo out there in a gown trying to back the trailer up to the door of like a YMCA in Centralia or something?
Yeah, something like that. It was like a youth center.
So how did it progress that far? Because to me it seems like the most damage I seen to the building was the venue guy kicking in the locker room door.
Right. That's really what it was. Everything that got damaged was shit that we had brought.
Mm-hmm.
I know that shit hit the fan when the TV came out. The TV was trashed from one of the workers that brought it.
Mm-hmm.
It was not the buildings. We didn't pull it out of their trash can or anything like that. And I know that when that TV got used, that's when shit hit the fan and that dude started flipping out. Now, I'm assuming maybe it was just because it's a youth building, and once he's seen all this carnage, because, I mean, you got Devin and Mason, Idle Bane, Dale, and the fucking Rejects. It's not going to stay in the ring.
Exactly.
It's going to go everywhere.
I mean, I think that's what kind of sold tickets is, whenever you went to an Outlaw show, it's not something that you want to stay in the ring. You're not going to an Outlaw show to see headlocks, wrist locks, and suplexes.
Right.
You want to see carnage and you want to see bloodshed.
Yeah, I mean, you'll get that at an Outlaw show, but it's going to be mixed with carnage and bloodshed.
Right. So from there, you then start doing a couple spots for IWA Mid-South?
Yeah.
Okay, so you did some spots there.
Well, actually, this goes back before Outlaw.
Okay.
I did the 2 tryout shows. Me and Cole James. The first one I did...
The Ghost of Cole James.
The Ghost of Cole James. Where is he? Nobody knows. What's up? How you doing? We did 2 tryout shows. I worked Cole James on the first one. This was back when, like I said, I'm out there trying to hit backwards Hurricane Ranas and shit like that. I mean, they weren't pretty. They were executed.
Right.
And nothing was psychology-wise, like, right at all.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Jimmy Jacobs talked to us both that night and gave us a lot of advice on stuff. And at the time, I was doing the Cash Cavins gimmick, where I was pretty much B-Rad from Malibu's Most Wanted. So I was out.
All right, but at that point, you get kicked off the podcast. No more.
Yeah. And then I'd wear like baggy pleather shorts, and then like whatever shirt I had made that month for cash, you know. But it was mostly like hip hop influenced stuff. Jimmy Jacobs, I remember him telling me that night that I had black baggy fucking gym shorts. Pleather gym shorts, and he's like, "You look like a trash bag flying around with Grace out there in the wind."
Oh, well, that's cute.
I remember being so hurt from it, though. Like, who is this sissy-footed sandal-wearing? Now I know who he is.
Yeah, exactly. Like he got a little bit of fame after that.
Like 2010, maybe?
Okay.
So... Like, I'm just starting to learn Jimmy Jacobs at this point. And good wrestling.
Okay.
Up to then, I trained and everything, not even knowing nothing about Ring of Honor. Until right at the end of my trainings when I started to learn, like, oh, shit, there's smart mark wrestling? What is this? And then opened up that can of worms. So, leading up to then, I didn't really know who Jimmy was.
Okay.
But, I mean, now everybody does.
Okay, so the timeline goes, the IWA Mid-South, get you into Outlaw. Now... You go to where you came back onto my radar, the infamous notorious, Strictly Insane Pro Wrestling.
Yeah.
So tell me about Strictly Insane.
Strictly Insane. My buddy Dalton Diamond got me involved with this.
I've heard that name before.
We were doing a gimmick at the time called The Boys in the Hood. And I wasn't the same name. I was Cash Borden, but I was still running with the same thug gimmick with Dalton Diamond. Two white boys, you know, from the mean streets of Compton.
Is there a Compton, Illinois?
Yeah, I think there is.
Okay,
I think that's where we were from. Maybe.
Okay.
But anyways, yeah, so you can only imagine that. Dalton messages me and he's like, hey, there's this show Strictly Insane. They got an alright roster. We were just talking about this on the way up here. Whenever we joined Strictly Insane, it was a decent roster.
Yeah.
There was decent workers all over that fucking card. I don't know what happened. But there was. Me and Dalton showed up. We did a couple tag matches. I think we were Jake Parnell and... Who was Jake Parnell's partner? Cole James?
Yeah.
Well, I'll be damned.
Once again, the ghost of Cole James.
This wasn't the Warlords Jake Parnell.
Yeah.
This was motherfucking Magic Man Jake Parnell. Gentleman Jake. Okay.
We put him through the roof.
Yeah, that night we put him through the roof, and I think that was one of the reasons we got kicked out of that building. They had the bar in it.
So this was the one in Carmi.
Yes.
Okay, so I went to one show there at Carmi, and the main event was Psycho against your future tag team partner, Pondo.
Oh, okay.
So that was the first time getting to meet Pondo, it was the first time I met Crazy Mary, because JCW happened after that, so... Okay, so you're there. Now, where are we at? You leaving the business for a little bit?
We're getting close.
Okay. Because I know there was a time where you were leaving the business, and because that was the first time I had met the Dalton Diamond guy. Because I remember I saw him at a show. He told me he was a worker. I laughed. He asked me about getting booked. I laughed.
Under my breath.
Then, I saw him at another show, and then he pitched to me that, again, to book not just him, but book you as well, because you were getting ready to retire and leave the business.
Yep, alright. At that time, I had a bunch of stuff going on in my personal life that was not good at all. So yeah, I had pretty much quit my job, and I was moving to New Mexico. Strange, I know. But yeah, I was going to leave everything behind and just start over. I got out there, stayed for not very long. Couple cups of coffee, enough time to get a medical marijuana license and head up every dispensary I seen. Then I left and came back. But yeah, I just felt like at that point that I just needed to start over and try. But that was the wrong place to start over and try something like that.
Yeah, I don't ever think anywhere in life is to go to New Mexico.
No, and it just so happens I like Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Okay.
And then I'm like, oh, this fucking block looks familiar. Yeah, it's the block where fucking Breaking Bad's filmed on, so it's constantly fucking busy. Motherfucking house at the end of my road, they would throw pizzas up on top of it all the time. Like real frozen pizzas. Just tossed on top of this house all
Why?
the fucking time. Something to do with the show. I've never seen it.
I haven't either.
Behind me was this, what do they call it? Some kind of bowl where a bunch of skateboarders used to go back in the day before there was skate parks and shit like that.
Okay.
But in that bowl and past that, there's like a desert area, and they film the Netflix series El Rey series from Dusk Till Dawn.
Okay.
So that was right behind the house I lived in.
Awesome.
You couldn't leave your house after 8 o'clock because you would get killed for whatever you had on. You couldn't wear gray or purple outside on the streets. It's fucking weird. You had a nice pair of shoes on and you walked outside to go to 7-Eleven or something. Them shoes aren't going to be with you when you come back. That's for damn sure.
So you was out there for a couple months, then you come back. And then as soon as you come back, you're back in the wrestling game.
Back in the wrestling business.
So now at this point, you're not just, you go back to Strictly Insane and you go and start working at Stride over in Marion.
Yeah,
correct?
I stayed locally after that. Just IWAU and Noble.
Okay, yep.
Strictly Insane.
I've still not checked out a show there. From what
IWAU?
Yeah. From what I understand, like, it doesn't run on like a Monday or Tuesday.
I think it's a Tuesday now.
How does a draw work on something on a Tuesday show?
I believe tickets are only like $3 or something like that. So
is it one of the places where they keep the ring up constantly?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, awesome.
The dude that runs it, he's converted this old church into a wrestling school, a training facility, and the show's upstairs.
Is that how you're still able to go inside it without it burning?
I mean, I don't know. It's like a brothel also. It's been all kinds of shit, so I'm sure plenty haunted.
Okay.
Every time I'm in there, I'm sure I conjure something. But, yeah, I mean, it's really a badass place. Like, before NWA Power just came back,
yeah,
the way it's set up is a lot like the NWA studio. There's only fans on the, like, in front of you and to the right of you.
Okay.
So everything else, that's where you go. That's a place that runs weekly where you can go, you can train, and you can get crisp on knowing what moves to do. Get a move set down, So I won't knock them for anything because they're really good about helping people get to where they need to be.
Okay,
to
awesome.
Go somewhere and wrestling.
Okay, so you do that, and like I said, you're back at SMPW. You're back in Stride. So let's talk SMPW because, like I said, a couple episodes back, which you can check on thebigleaguesworld.com, you can go to the archives and you can listen to Marley Knox's episode where she kind of talks about how she came into contact with you, which you've told me there may be some discrepancies in that story.
Yeah.
So I'm here to give you the opportunity.
We got to rapping, and this how it happened. Okay?
Speak the truth. Testify. Tell us what happened. Tell us how you got to do business with Marley Knox.
Okay. I get to Strictly one night. I mean, I had known Marley from way back in the day when she was with A.T. Brooks. Oh, can I say that? That was shit she dodged, right?
I don't know who that is, so I don't care.
A.T. Brooks. Whoops. Anyways, she was with him.
Better get a rag for that tea that was spilled there.
Yeah, there it is. Splash, splash. So I meet her through him. I never really talked to either one of them back then. So like I said, I had the bad reputation where none of these young kids wanted to fucking be around me and they were scared of me.
Yeah.
So I would kind of like go off into the corner, kind of like I do now. I get to a show, I shake hands, and I just go disappear.
So the first story I want to ask you before we get too far into this, tell me about this naked guy that you protected her from.
That was Aaron, A.T. Brooks, her own boyfriend, which I didn't even know that I was protecting her from. Maybe she just ran and hid behind me because, like I said, everybody was scared of me. All these younger kids were like, oh, fuck Cash, don't go around him. He'd smoke weed.
Allegedly.
It might rub off on me.
Allegedly.
Anyways, we're in the locker room. The booker for Strictly Insane comes up to me and he says, hey, I'm going to put her with you tonight. And I said, all right, well, how many other people is she with? Oh, well, this tag team, this guy. And I was like, listen, dude, if you're going to put a valet with me, she's not going to be with anybody else but me because we're going to do this to our fullest potential. And he was like, all right, man. And he's like, what do you want to do, like boyfriend and girlfriend? And I was like, no, like brother and sister, but I'll always act like very sexual and derogatory comments to her, like having her shake her ass in front of little kids, old men, just real perverted shit. I mean, it gets a laugh, it gets over. Mm-hmm. So that's what happened. We sat down and came up with a new name. I can't remember what the fuck her name was. It was Marley something. Maybe it wasn't even Marley. I don't know. It was shitty though. I know that. So like the outlaws that were there at the show. Yeah. Sat around this table and we all came up with this name. So Marley, if you go start doing porn or anything, best believe I'm suing your ass when you use that name. So that's how it happened pretty much. Sam put me and Marley finally together, and we ran this gimmick to where I was her older brother, and yeah, the rest is kind of history.
So, I think it was one of the things that I noticed when we started going to Strictly Insane again, was that it did not really come off anywhere that y'all were brother and sister. Like, it was, I don't know, from the storytelling aspect of it, like, it was just not put out there that well.
No, it wasn't.
Because it was always like, so what are they, like, boyfriend, girlfriend? And then I think it was, so I actually talked to you, and you told me, like, no, we're brother and sister. I was like, I don't get it, but okay.
Right. See, a lot of the times we'd come out and open the show. When we opened the show is when I would mention these things and these promos. But this is stuff nobody records. Nobody pays attention to. Besides the setup for the match that night, you know. But I mean, this was stuff that we got out in those promos. But it was kind of almost better, too, with people not knowing.
Right.
So whenever something would happen to where, like, say her butt's in my face, and I'm like, get the fuck off of me, you fucking sicko or whatever. And then you got teenage dudes out in the crowd that are like, what is this dude? Like, what's wrong with him, you know? And I'm like, this is my fucking sister. It just adds to it. It makes it so much more better. Especially when I'm like, Marley, pull your tits out. Help me get this win, Marley.
Okay. So now y'all are running roughshod in SMPW with this gimmick. How do y'all get with Pondo?
Oh, I think I had mentioned something to Pondo because the whole idea behind the Me and Marley thing was really ripping off Baby Firefly and Otis Driftwood from the Devil's Rejects. I had recently changed my persona to where I wasn't really like this happy-go-lucky, thuggish-ruggish dude anymore. I became this axe murderer, fucking serial killer on the weekends type gimmick. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, this
So Crossville local.
Yeah. And it fit perfect. Yeah. But I mean, that aspect of Me and Marley, I felt like fit perfect with that. And when Pondo came along, I'm like, oh shit, here's our Captain Spaulding. I talked to Pondo about it. He was down with it because he was really just doing random bullshit. Me and Marley was doing random bullshit. We were working all the top guys he would bring in, but it was still just random. Like one week I'm working fucking Congo Kong, the next week Rhino, the next week Smokin' Jay. You know, and I'm not going to knock Smokin' Jay. Smokin' Jay, he goes out there and he tries. You know, I mean, like...
Yeah.
He tries. There's a lot of things he could work on and be crisper with. He tries. But see, there's a difference between a guy like him that's trying to do something and then a guy like this kid fucking wrestled on the trampoline a couple times in his backyard, talked to the booker, maybe slid some money the booker's way and got put on the show.
Yeah.
Like the first 3 hours of these shows.
Yeah, because if you've not listened to any of the other podcasts before, we kind of make it pretty out there that if you go to a Strictly Insane show, you're looking at about a 5-hour show with multiple intermissions. So, yeah, there's a lot that goes on there.
And it is a stretch. Like when I did this every night for 5 years, I'd show up, be the first promo, have to wait till 11 o'clock to come back out for my match. Like, that is insane. Sometimes later than 11 o'clock.
Yep. I think the latest I've ended up leaving there from a show was 1.
Yeah.
And I'm just like... And what was really weird about it is I remember that night, like, it was... Pondo was still with Tony. And he was they were working the Mercies. And with that, it just kind of made it a little weird because they had this big old... destroy the whole building, Falls Count Anywhere match, which was good. But after all this happened, then they had a match after that. And it was like the crowd, half the crowd left, and the other crowd just did not care. Yeah.
And that's how a lot of these matches are. They're just thrown together like that, and there's no investment into it. Somebody's over there bumping. They better not find my secret that I've hidden.
The secret.
All right, so sorry to cut off from this. We're going to start something new. Anytime that Cash Borden is on a show, I'm going to start...
Allegedly.
I'm going to start leaving clues on my Instagram, on my Facebook.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. That these clues will lead one lucky individual. Okay. I allegedly smoke marijuana.
Allegedly.
So, everybody knows wrestling and fighting is much more, cooler whenever you allegedly... smoke marijuana. Well, to me it is. And that's not always the easiest thing to do when you're surrounded by tons and tons of people. So, easiest way to do it is eating it. So, for one lucky fan from now on, I will set out the first clue after this podcast. There is some edibles taped to the bottom of... I can't give that away because that's too... There are some edibles placed in the arena tonight. Allegedly. That if you follow these clues on my Facebook and Instagram, you will have a damn good time. Allegedly.
But the only way to find out whether or not this is true or just one giant rib is to actually come out to a CCW show and buy a ticket and see what you can find.
And follow the clues. So, hit me up at Cash Borden on Instagram and Cash Borden on Facebook for that first clue following this podcast.
So no OnlyFans to promote?
OnlyFans. If you're a worker and you find that, boy...
No, I mean, you don't have like an OnlyFans account to promote where...
No. There's no need in none of that.
Okay. You just give it away for free.
Yeah.
So if you hit them DMs, is what he's saying.
Right.
Allegedly,
you could get clues.
You could get clues.
Allegedly.
If this is actually happening. You'll never know unless you buy a ticket and find out.
Well, I mean...
So, anyways, back to the topic at hand here. Okay, so you're with so you get with Pondo.
Yes.
So y'all are now collectively known as the Freaks R Us.
The Freaks R Us. We come out and do the same shit, though. We come out, we open the show with a promo that Pondo would butcher the name all the time. What did he call it? Like, the Freaks of some... It wasn't the Freaks R Us, I know that. But we got past that. We learned to look around it. And then... I mean, we opened the show with a promo, and then we're still stuck around waiting till 1 o'clock in the morning to wrestle.
Yep.
And half the fans are there, and half the fans are not there. I mean, just so repetitive and constantly doing the same thing. We win the SMPW tag titles. I don't even remember how long we ran with those for.
Well, I mean, it's not like y'all had a real tag team to really compete against you.
No, we didn't. It was just a bunch of random guys thrown together. I think besides Lethal Injection.
Yeah.
And then the Hooligans.
Hooligans, Lethal Injection. And then you had some fails, which was the, what was it? Some army team.
See, I think their names were Prisoners of War, something like that. But I never worked with them.
I did hear they were Dalton Diamond's favorite tag team.
Oh, I can see that. They should have been like the Shield.
You know, him two together, and then Dalton when he wears his purple or orange camo shorts.
New Jack.
The three mismatching of camo here. So, alright, so y'all are running roughshod with all this. But, I used the same tagline in Marley's episode. All bad things must come to an end, just like Motley Crue said.
Yeah.
So let's talk about all them old 80s rock bands, they never actually go away. It's just a cash grab. Right. But anyways, so let's talk about the ending here. And then we're going to get on my soapbox and talk about what really upset me about this.
Oh, and I listened to the podcast. Everything you said is what upsets me.
Okay.
Okay. We had all the potential to make this almost like... on this little indie scene that we have down here, a passing of the torch from Pondo to me that just completely gets fucking blown to shit the next show when the booker's like, alright, here it is. You two fucking Falls Count Anywhere deathmatch, or it was Freaks R Us rules, because that's what our matches used to go by. And it was just dog shit. Like, the match itself was just, I mean... There wasn't hardly anybody there, so we didn't want to kill ourselves.
Right.
So, I mean, it was nothing.
Was there ever the thought or the potential of something else that was going to come about of this?
Yes. From what I was told, they have a tournament they do every now and then. I won't even mention the tournament.
Because it's never happening again.
Yeah, apparently. This was supposed to come up. The blow-off for the feud between me and Pondo would end in this tournament. Tournament never happened. Never happened. They wanted to do something else with me and Pondo, and they took like a hiatus for, felt like forever.
Yeah, because their building couldn't pass electric inspection
maybe.
Or something.
And then like nobody cared anymore to see me and I made Madman Pondo leave town in that match that we had, and it was maybe
like leaving Crossville's a punishment.
Right. Anyways. maybe an 8-minute match where it was just nothing.
Okay, so to kind of give a timeline of where everything is with this match happens the same time that a couple hours north, you had a GCW, you had Mansour and Gage. So, if there was any remote chance of really trying to promote to a deathmatch crowd to really get the door in, you literally picked like one of the worst times to do it.
Yeah.
And then the lack of promotion even behind it. This should have easily been a couple of months feud that had the big blow off.
It was the next week.
So
there could have been a tag match added in there. Something. Could have tagged me up with Marley. Me and Marley to take on Pondo. Something. Pondo could have brought in anyone. A Monster. Zodiac. That would have been cool. Something. There was so many ways we could have went with this, and they just did nothing with it. Mm-hmm. Which is like how everything in my career has happened over in Strictly. They've had potential with everything. All these matches where I'm working names, they draw like crazy. But nothing comes from it. It's just, you and Congo, alright, that match happens, that dies down. Next week, you and Rhino, same thing's gonna happen. Then it's gonna be you and this guy, same thing's gonna happen. Same thing's gonna happen. Like, and then I'm just putting these random, like, 6-man tag matches. It'd be like me and, like, Dalton Diamond and Cole James versus some fucking murderers. Alex Rudolph and the Hooligans. Like, what the fuck? You know, it didn't make sense. And that's one reason, like, I've cooled down on working with Sam right now. Because I've been doing this for 13 years. My body cannot take much more. So in these last couple years that I do have, I'm making sure that I get the most from it and only do things to where I feel good when I leave the show. You know, I'm only going to do shows to where when I leave that show, I feel like a wrestler still. I don't feel like I just wasted my whole day watching some people practice wrestling in front of 10 people.
So, while your time at SNPW is dwindling down, you are still also on the exact opposite end of the spectrum. You are working for Stride over in Marion, and you're actually at this time starting to build towards a title run, correct?
Yeah. This was a long, like, Tyler, man, when he books shows for Stride, he writes this out a year in advance.
Okay.
So that way, if anything comes up to where somebody's hurt or something, he's got already alternates to slide in there.
Right.
For everything. So, I mean, yeah, everything that happened with me in Stride really has been planned out, besides my suspensions and stuff like that I've gotten from Stride, over missing shows and things like that, which I totally get. You know, you don't learn unless you get shit like that.
Right.
Really. So, but yeah, everything that I've done in Stride built to the Centrea show that we had cashing in. And I mean, it was perfect I felt like, to close the doors on Stride there.
Well, of course it was a perfect deal, because I was there.
Well, there you go.
You know.
It's like, did Tyler hand you the torch?
He's like, take the torch, it belongs to Cash. However, don't give him back.
Well, that's not what he told me. But yeah, dude, and like, Tyler is so cool about that. You know, like, a lot of bookers, he messaged me the day after that Centrea show, and he's like, where do you want to go from here? And I was like, I feel like it's better if I just don't come back. So, I mean, really, like, it was a perfect ending to what Cash was in Stride. And if I come back and do something, it's just going to tarnish it. I want to leave on that high note that I had. And all them fans in Stride, hell, half them workers in Stride, if I go back and look through my Facebook memories and I'm hitting fucking dives and stapling Madman Pondo's face at Stride, of all places, I can see these fans out in the crowd just cheering and going nuts, and it's half these fucking kids that are on the show now, which right there is enough gratitude to me to be happy with what I've done so far.
Yeah. I ain't gonna lie, you did have a pretty nice send-off there. You know, some weird fat dude in the crowd just started pounding on the ring.
He got them all going.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
Probably the first and only time
trying to bring tears and shit to my eyes. I was like, fuck him.
Yeah. He's a real douche canoe. Okay, so you have this. So we talked about this earlier. You come to CCW. You make it to the Mecca. You make it to the Holy Land.
And they're like, don't get in the ring.
Right.
You got all these fucking hurdles you gotta jump before you can do anything.
So now you're finally here to CCW. You're here to make a statement. Tonight you're in a ladder match.
For the Missouri title? Something like that?
For the pure open weight title.
In a ladder match.
In a ladder match.
A pure open weight title in a ladder match.
Yes.
Okay.
You know, the ladder's pretty sturdy because it's open weight, and we don't judge here.
As long as it's pure.
It is pure.
Like, did you have Raven bless that shit?
Yes.
Thank God. All right, now I'm 100% down for it.
Yep, he was like, wait, what? Okay, so you have that. So we've talked about your history here, like moving to today. So that's not it. You've had history in the deathmatch world. Where are you currently at with that?
On hiatus.
Okay.
I'm like I said, in my older age here, and I'm rounding the end of my career, 13 years. You don't really have a long career when you're in wrestling.
Yeah, especially the style that you do.
So with death matches, man, like I've had numerous companies hit me up and offer me crazy amounts of money.
They offered him 2 hot dogs and 2 handshakes.
That's right. And I'm like, well, fuck, you make that 4 hot dogs and a couple shimmy shakes on my wee-wee. I'm just kidding. Jenna, I'm lying. I love you. Anyways, yeah, like you offer me 4 hot dogs and I'm down, which is what I'm about to get to here. Like, I've had all these guys offering me, you know, some of them are like, money's no object. And I'm like, bullshit. And I throw a number at them. They're like, deal. And I'm like, fuck. So there will be some more death matches coming up here.
Okay.
Soon.
Awesome. I know we do have a big fan base here at the Deathmatch that listens to the Big Leagues World
Man,
podcast.
right now, death matches are, it's like, when ECW was hot back in the day, okay, deathmatch wrestling has become this. It's something like you walk into a bar to get drunk or see a band. A lot of the times there's no ring death matches happening now because it's fucking fitting in with what young people want to see in society.
It's the evolution of how the indie wrestling is going and what it's actually going to take to get people into seats and sell tickets.
Right. And then, like, I was always brought up, like, that is garbage shit. And I thought it my whole career. I got offered to do Prince of the Death Matches. And it took some talking to from Devin and Mason. Hooligans, dude. If they wouldn't have talked me through it, I wouldn't have did it probably. But they're like, man, there's not a lot of deathmatch workers out there, and you're fucking good. If you can blend what you do now in with that, I think you can stand out hardcore in death matches. So I took their advice and I did Prince. And I did. I mean, like, my value blew up so much more after that. Just on recognition from people and being actually, like, you know, when you go to West Virginia and it's the first time ever being there and you got motherfuckers running up everywhere. Oh, Cash, what's up? That's a pretty badass feeling, man.
Right.
So, I mean, like, you know, from my perspective, I'm always told not to do this thing. And then I dabble in it and get more fucking credibility than I did 12 years leading up prior. Why not keep on doing it? If you do it safe and know what you're doing and not going out there just fucking right off the bat going ham. Which, I mean, that's a gift and a curse in deathmatch tournaments. The fans are there to see you go ham. They don't give a fuck if you locked up in that match or not started off. They want to see, you know?
Light tubes, barbed wire, glass,
But
fire.
Like, that's what I feel like makes me stand out, though, too. And Devin and Mason the same. We'll start the match normal. You know, we take everything from a normal wrestling match and blend that shit in with the death match. You know, so that way you're getting the best of both worlds. Right there, it's safe. And, I mean, as long as you can do it with trusting people, you have no worries, man. You have no worries at all.
But there are still sometimes. Yeah. So for those of y'all also listening to this, we're also recording an episode today with Dalton Diamond, who's over here at the table. And he's supposed to be keeping people from coming up talking while we're recording, but he has not done a very good job at it with his security. With his Mark sunglasses.
For sure. I'll take a picture of them right now, flip me off, and I'll post it.
What kind of brand of sunglasses are those?
Sexy.
Oh, them's Ray-Bans.
No, them are Mark sunglasses. The Emma, is it? What was her name? Tennille or something?
Emma Stone?
No, the wrestler.
Emma Stone, that's what they are.
Emma. Oh. Clumsy chick.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't think of what she's called now. But it was Emma, yes.
It's like Tanil something.
Bubble chick.
Bubble.
Oh,
It's
look
like,
at that.
It starts with a D, doesn't it? The shot.
Dashwood or
Something.
Tanil, something like that. So anyways, there's the future of the death match for Cash Borden. We don't know when. We don't know where.
It's a mystery.
It's a mystery. And Cash does have a reputation of just showing up at random places, so you never know. Now, I do know one place that I did not see you at, and that was
Pro Wrestling Train Wreck!
at Pro Wrestling Train Wreck, the Southern Sickness Cup 2019.
Yeah, that is right. They hit me up last minute, man, and they were like, "You gonna do the show?" I'm like, "You gotta work a cheap job."
Ah, yeah.
Couldn't work out.
They had a couple people that couldn't make it,
Can't call in 2 days in a row, you know.
Yeah. Fair enough. So, did you get a chance to see part of your compadre, your sister's match?
I did.
What'd you think?
Did. Now, from what I did see, man, like, which, you know, these guys, like I said, took care of her.
Yeah.
But she took some blows. I remember seeing her get creamed with a fucking door a couple times.
Yeah.
Hardcore. And then,
Did you see the headbutt spot?
yes! That right there was, I'm so glad that she stood her ground and did it. I'm so glad. Because I know damn well she had no knowledge of even knowing JC and Reed Bentley and these guys for a couple of years now.
Uh-huh.
I'm sure she had no knowledge that that's what JC's known for, is a stiff-ass headbutt. I cherish that.
Yeah.
Reed Bentley is known for the same stiff-ass headbutt, stiff-ass...
Man, I felt bad for Reed last night. They put a fish hook in the bottom of his foot.
Dude! Okay, at CPW 7 Deadly Sins one time, Dalton was telling me, somebody hammered a fucking nail through his foot.
No, that was IWA Mid-South. Yeah.
Oh, was it Mid-South?
Yeah.
Okay.
Through whose foot?
Reed
Bentley's.
Bentley. They
Next time I
put
see him, I'm going to ask him about
They put his
it.
foot on the board and then took a hammer and a nail and actually nailed it through his boot, so wherever he walked, it was stuck on his foot.
Sick.
Wow.
So no surprise to me with the fish hook.
So that's crazy. That's crazy. So as far as questions went, what fans submitted, it was all pretty well the kind of the same questions they all had.
Worded different.
Yeah, kind of worded different, you know. All kind of leading towards the deathmatch realm.
Yeah.
You know, who's your favorite deathmatch wrestler you worked? Was it Dalton Diamond? International deathmatch
but me
sensation.
and Dalton have killed it in some death matches, man. We have. This one was at an outlaw show.
Uh-huh.
And it was like, we did this thing where we filled up 3 balloons with 1,000 thumbtacks apiece in it. Every 5 minutes, one balloon would pop, and we would shotgun a beer. Balloons pop prematurely, so the first 1 minute of this match, we're shotgunning a beer and fucking chain wrestling for about 5 minutes in thumbtacks. And Dalton fucking held his own that whole time. I mean, when we left, there wasn't a spot on us that wasn't poked besides maybe the bottom of our feet. But I mean, Dalton was sick also. The whole way there, we kept having to stop for him to puke, and this was at Tracy Smothers School there in Illinois.
Is it Salem?
No. Where the hell was that?
Somewhere in Illinois.
That's all I remember.
Yeah, well, fuck. For those of you that know, you know what I'm talking about. The School of Smothers is where it was at. But yeah, Dalton's puking every hour, stopping and puking. I tell him that we got to shotgun beers every 5 minutes, and he's like, well, what the fuck, dude? All whiny and shit like a little baby girl, you know. But, dude, yeah, he held his own. Marley, I think, drank more beer than he did in the match. But yeah, that was a cool one.
Tell him about what your fucking dickhead ass did, knowing I'm puking all day.
Double stomp chin, all kinds of splashes I could. Yeah, that's me.
That's fair.
That's me killing my friends, you know. But, yeah, dude, I'd say probably my favorite death match that I've worked so far has to be Vicious Outcast last year, where it was, it was supposed to be me and JC Rotten versus the Hooligans. And this was Fans Bring the Weapons. I'll never forget when I walked out, everybody in the crowd had light tubes that were like 10 foot tall. So it looked like I was in a fucking jail cell when I walked out there. Just light tubes everywhere. And I'm like, oh, great, because I don't fucking like light tubes. Out of all things, I hate glass and light tubes, which those are the matches I always get put in. electrified light bulb.
Just
canvas.
remember, folks, if you bring light bulbs to a show, T12 only.
Yes. Well, just don't bring any. I'm fine with that.
Or toothpicks.
Yeah, fuck them too.
So that was a match that had the Cajun spot in it, correct? Was it Cajun season?
Yes. In that match, okay. So it's supposed to be me and JC Rotten versus the Hooligans. JC couldn't make it. His last-minute replacement, which I'll get to here in just a second, they told me day of, blew my fucking mind. Get there, I get to announce this dude as my JC's replacement, and it's G-Raver. So it's now me and G-Raver versus the Hooligans. And fans bring the weapons. Now, during this match, we're cut up, we're bloody, fucking bleeding from everywhere. The Hooligans are barefooted. I remember at one point they're like, don't dump any thumbtacks out. And I'm like, what the fuck? There's glass everywhere. There's cactuses right there. There's a kinzai right there. Like, you're bound to step on something. But there was this Halloween bucket that had tacks all over it. And there was a Jason mask inside there covered in tacks. Yep. And then there was just loose tacks. So I see Devin, I think it was, winding back like Fred Flintstone about to run at me. So I just fucking throw all these thumbtacks on the ground in front of him, and he hits them bitches like Fred Flintstone and sells them perfect. I grab his foot, paper cut his toes, over his shit. So going on this match, we're dwindling down towards the finish. And in the finish here, they told me in the back that there's a duffel bag underneath the ring. There's 3 duffel bags. 2 of the duffel bags have the Vicious Outcast tag titles in it that we're going to pull out during the match, and this match is going to become for the Vicious Outcast tag titles. So we're digging. The third bag is full of salt, just random fucking miscellaneous weapons. So I'm digging for that weapon bag. Digging all over, I can't find it. I keep grabbing the fucking titles, all kinds of shit. Finally find it. Get it in the ring. I had just paper cutted Devin on his mouth, I believe, and maybe used a fork on him, and I was coming at him to dump. In my mind, I was going to use rubbing alcohol and salt to dump on him. Digging around, can't find no rubbing alcohol. I find a thing of shaving cream. I'm like, what the fuck is this going to do? I find another, like, a baby diaper or something, and then some baby powder, and I'm like, what the fuck? And then I see Country Bob's.
Country Bob's. Shout out to Country Bob's.
Cajun fucking pepper. And I'm like, oh, well, fuck, this has got to do something.
Yeah.
Pull that bitch out, flip the lid off, poke my fucking finger through that little seal on the lid, take off towards Mason. Mason cuts me off. When he cuts me off, my hand jerks, and this cloud of fucking cayenne pepper just hits us both in the face. Now, we're sweaty as fuck. This is 30 minutes probably into this match. We're both bloody as shit. All that dust just floats up and then goes right to our fucking faces. So now I'm like, holy shit, I am on fucking fire. My God. He cut me off. I stumbled back, and I'm like, no, motherfucker, you're getting this. I take off running, and I just like bowling ball the rest of it in his face. Didn't thinking it was going to be that bad because we had just taken some of it. Boy, was I wrong. That was the most painful thing I've ever done in wrestling. Jeez. That cayenne pepper caught us on fire, dude. We couldn't see throughout the whole rest of the match. If you watch it, I believe somebody throws some water to Mason to start washing his eyes out with, which I push him and take the water from it. I don't know if that's on the video or not. And then I start washing my eyes. We go for the finish. None of us can see besides Devin. Devin, I hear say to Mason, you fucking pussy. It's just blood. Wipe it out of your eyes. So, it all happens. Everything happens. The match wraps up. We get to the back. I'm fucking begging for some water right now. I see Devin and Mason just dumping fucking water all over Mason. Mason looks at me and goes, gosh, why the fuck do you do that? And I was like, I'm sorry, I didn't think it'd be that bad. Let me have some of that water. And he's like, fuck you. And like, even the ride home, man, it was like a 13-hour drive. And it was cold, so we had the heat on. I remember him looking over at Alex, who was driving, and he said, Alex, hey man, you want to turn that heat off? My fucking face is on fire. So we had to drive all the way home without having to shower, with all this fucking cayenne pepper stuff.
Oh, nice.
And I had dreads at the time. They just stayed there forever. Like powder and shit would fly off of them. But that was my favorite death match to this day still, man. It was awesome.
Nice.
And actually, for the past 2 years, I've been on probation, so I'm not legally allowed to leave Illinois. You know, living up to that outlaw name.
That's
here
right.
In
That's
Gerardo,
right.
Missouri.
Allegedly. We
But
could
yeah.
also be in Cape Girardeau, Illinois.
That is where we're at. But if you're coming to the show tonight, that is in Cape Girardeau, Missouri.
Right.
And
And maybe across the bridge.
Don't forget to follow your nose and find that super sweet brownie that's hidden.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
But don't get upset if there's not one.
But yeah, that was my favorite death match that I've worked so far. It was fun. Everything about it, dude, was just awesome. That was my first appearance at Vicious Outcast. The fucking fans, dude, they were all standing, clapping, please come back afterwards. So it was a badass feeling, man. Being my fourth big deathmatch show. I mean, I've done tons of little bitty death matches that I call hardcore matches. But being my fourth big deathmatch show, dude, to have that whole fucking crowd standing up, chanting, please come back. And I think I got, like, that was awesome fucking 3 or 4 times. You sick fuck after the cayenne pepper incident.
Yeah.
I mean, it was badass just to get that notoriety from fans that know what's up with the deathmatch scene.
So are they going to start running shows again, or?
Yeah, they have one coming up, Lord's Anarchy 5.
I thought it got canceled.
It did. They're looking for a building. So as soon as they got that building, the card will still be up and ready
Okay.
to go.
I'm gonna may have to try to check that out there.
Yeah.
Okay, so with this kind of bring everything towards the end here, we're gonna do a couple of name associations here. Just kind of tell me what comes to your mind.
All right.
So first things first, let's hit with some of the big ones. Sam Cosby.
Sam is a fucking awesome dude. I just really wish that he would put some thought into what he's writing down on that piece of paper.
Madman Pondo.
Madman Pondo is another dude that is awesome. He has his moody moments, but I mean, every time he does, dude, he's totally in the right, 100%. So I mean, that's about it. Pondo's the man.
Too Tough Tony.
Too Tough Tony. That cock-guzzling prick. No, I'm just kidding. Too Tough's the man also, man. Every time I see him, we hang out. Usually the whole show, so.
Dalton Diamond.
Dalton Diamond. Let me see. If his mom could go back and just name him Mark. No, I'm playing. Dalton is one of my best friends in the business.
Awesome. Marley Knox.
Who the fuck is that? Oh, that porn star that almost you? No, Marley, I mean, okay, after watching Sickness last night, the stuff that I seen, she went toe-to-toe with some of the hardest-hitting people from the area. That's for damn sure. There's stuff she needs to work on. She needs to get somewhere where she can train all the time and get solid on shit. Hopefully being with JC now, that can be a possibility. Because I know he'll want to work on the same stuff that I seen. But dude, other than that, I mean, for her being a pretty girl and going into the deathmatch game, you know, she's not a Mickey Knuckles.
Yeah.
But she's out there doing it. So, I mean, I give her all the credit in the world for that.
Awesome. So, anything you want to put out there? Anybody you want to mention or have anything that you need to correct, confront, or address from previous podcasts or anything like that?
No, I mean, I think I corrected everything
You think
earlier in a story.
Oh, yeah?
But, let's see.
You got a
Come
shout
on,
out?
Dalton, give me something here. What do I want to address? Name something that pissed me off. Oh! Here's a little story real quick.
Okay.
This one time, where was this at in Tennessee? Or in Kentucky? Where I got shot on.
Oh, that was Louisville.
Okay. I'm with Cole James, Dalton Diamond. We're in Louisville at some show. I'm not even going to mention it. We go down to the locker room, and we're not, we don't associate with anybody, so we make our own part of the locker room, which ends up being the girls' locker room that we didn't know about.
Yeah.
So all the dudes there automatically think we're trying to fuck all their bitches. Now, Cole's over there the whole time, like, oh, you think I can see this bitch's tits and shit like that, because that's how Cole
The
James
ghost
is.
of Cole James.
The ghost of Cole James. So, all this is getting thrown around. I don't say a fucking word this whole time. We get out there to do this battle royal, and I got 10 motherfuckers jumping me in this match. Where are my friends that I brought with me? You may ask this question. I look over, I see Cole James on the ground getting choked. A work choke. Well, I'm getting swung on by 10 different people. I see Dalton just standing on the ground, like, kind of looking at Cole going, hey, I think Cash is getting jumped. Now, I don't know what they're thinking after that, because I keep selling and doing shit.
I'll correct the story when I'm on.
They keep selling and doing shit and not coming to my aid. When I notice this, and I'm like, all right, I'm alone here, I stand up and start fucking all these guys up.
Mm-hmm.
So I stand up, I shoot on them all, I eliminate myself, walk off the whole time, fucking talking shit, blah, blah, blah. Get back, we get paid. I'm straight outside waiting on them to come out. I'll let Dalton finish the rest of that story because it was some bullshit. Bullshit.
Well, usually there is if it involves Dalton Diamond.
But I mean, yeah, like, I don't hold grudges with anybody. There's been numerous people that talking shit about me throughout the years, and the funny thing is, like, it's all over nonsense or little.
Mm-hmm.
He smokes weed, allegedly smokes pot. You know, it's little bickering shit like that.
Allegedly.
You don't look at that nowadays at all. So get off my motherfucking dick.
Right.
That's about it.
Anybody you want to shout out?
No.
Anything you
I'm all
want to
about
plug?
me. I'm all about me. Just, like I said, follow your nose to allegedly find a mystery prize that is hidden in the arena tonight.
Allegedly. So don't be complaining if you don't find it. Or don't be complaining if you think you found something that's not the prize. Where can everybody find you at on social media?
You can find me on Instagram at Cash Borden, and you can find me on Facebook at Cash Borden. Other than that, I don't fuck with anything else.
No Twitter?
No, Pokemon Go. My name's Pringle Queef on there. Find me.
Pokemon Go, okay.
I only catch ghosts, dude. God.
Dude, I played Pokemon when it started. It lasted like 1 week, and then I was like, I'm kind of bored.
Well, you gotta do shit.
I mean,
You gotta go.
we walked around my apartment complex.
You gotta go places, man.
You know, I don't have any phone games.
I'm ready to see what fucking Cape Girardeau, Illinois has in it here in a minute.
Well, there's quite a few out there that you could probably get.
I just caught a Bulbasaur at a stoplight on the way here.
I don't know what that is, but okay.
The fucking frog with the flower on his neck.
I don't know.
It's a Bulbasaur.
I don't know what that is. All right, well, Cash, I appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to come and do this podcast with me. I'm glad to have you here as part of CCW. It's been something I've been trying to do for a long time. I'm glad we finally got it taken care of.
Hells yeah.
All righty. With that being said, thanks to everybody who's listened. Make sure that you hit the like, share, subscribe, comment button, do all that fun stuff. Make sure you check this episode out and all previous episodes over on your favorite podcast platform and at bigleesworld.com. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, email us at bigleesworld@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook at Big Lee's World. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at BigLee756. Thanks for listening to this, and we'll be coming at you soon with another episode. This one will be featuring Dalton Diamond.
Hey.